Hello, Formula One fans, and welcome back to F1 in Focus. If you are unfamiliar with the show, we are the only podcast where a Lewis and a Max fan can very much get along in the wonderful world of Formula One and stay friendly during a season. My name is John, and I'll be your host tonight. And with me is the man with the best hair in the business. It is none other than James Hazel.
Hello.
Hey,
Have you
James.
recovered from the early start for us on Sunday?
7 hours. It was 7 o'clock, something my time.
Ah, not too early then, I suppose. Yeah.
No, I've compared that to Australia. It was like
Still too early for me, 6 a.m.
well, clock moved forward a little bit. I think like 6 is hard, 7 is easy. It gets.
Yeah. I don't have that issue. So.
No, that's fine for me.
Anyone waking me up that early?
I think 7 is like a good time to enjoy the day still. Next thing, I think China is 9 Central European time, 8 UK in the morning.
Yeah, that one's doable.
Doable, he says, man. It's like sleeping in. Oh, man. You're wearing orange today. Does that have a reason?
No, it's just what I'm wearing.
Right. Well, just checking. James.
If anything, I should be wearing red. I need to find more red clothes.
Oh, I tried, but copyright and stuff. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
James, race number 4 done. Japan. Yeah. It is time for summary. It is the rainy race that never got any rain until free practice 2.
Yeah.
But apparently moving it to the front of the season was a very good plan because we didn't have any rain during quali or the race. Max Verstappen took his revenge by winning with a huge lead over his teammate. Ferrari was nowhere to be found until suddenly they got a strategy completely right and out of the blue, ended up beating Norris, who did look very good for podium all weekend. Behind them, Alonso and Russell kept it clean this time, whilst Yuki scored points in his home Grand Prix. Not scoring any points were both Haases, but they still showed some good pace. The same can't be said, unfortunately, about the Alpines, but apparently both cars went suddenly damaged. Talking about damage, Sargent had an absolute blast with a fixed chassis and tried to break it again and again and again during the weekend while trying to read his Google Maps. And Ricciardo almost broke Albon, but honestly, that was as pure as a racing incident as they will come.
Yeah.
Did I get that right, James?
I think that's a pretty good summary, yeah. I did like the bit about Sargent. Oh dear, plus Sargent. He was finally having a decent race, and then he just decided to forget about a corner.
Well, he did. He said that can happen, but it wasn't the first time that happened during the weekend.
No, it wasn't. No.
Poor man. So I had very much sympathy with him. He missed the last race, of course, because they showed who the real second driver was in that team.
Yeah.
Didn't have enough spare parts. And then during FP1, they gave him the fixed chassis from the last time. So not only did he get out of the car last week or 2 weeks ago, now he got the chassis that Albon broke. They fixed it and gave it to him, yep. Which felt a little bit sour as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what, free practice 1. Let me try to break it myself then.
Yeah.
It was a hard crash though.
Not great. But he was looking pretty good in the race at one point. He was looking pretty racy. He was overtaking some people. He was in a decent position for Williams, and then he just kind of threw it all away by parking it in the gravel trap.
I almost thought he would cause a safety car there.
Yeah, I'm surprised he managed to reverse out of it. Because normally once you're in the gravel, they're just kind of stuck there, aren't they? Because they just end up beaching themselves. But
I think Japanese gravel was just dust.
Well, there was a lot of dust. His car looked very much like something out of Mad Max when he finally got back on the circuit and moving again. It was just covered in a layer of dust. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would be having a Mad Max if he did pull out the safety car at that moment, though.
Yeah.
Then it would be up for grabs for actually I think the Ferraris could have a good way because they just switched to the new tires. Yeah. But yeah, Sargent, I'm sorry, mate, but it's pretty clear this is last season, eh?
I think so. Yeah, he's going to have to make a significant turnaround to do anything. Yeah, to kind of secure a seat for next season or whatever now, because he's just not really performing, especially now that he's out of his rookie season. He should be doing better than this. He's still making little mistakes that, you'd expect better from him.
The thing that gave it away for me was that James Falls, so the team principal, said Sargent's crash was not from pushing too hard. It was a frustrating one because he didn't actually know where he was on track.
The one in practice?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's so bizarre.
Why should but why they say that? Why would they
Well, yeah, I mean,
why
that's
not protect the boy a little bit in this situation?
That's not really going to help his confidence either, putting that out there, because it's just going to get, just going to take the mick out of him even more than people already do. So, yeah.
Yeah, talking about Sargent, we actually have a question which I might just ask right away.
Okay.
Ingvi, all the way from Norway, says, did they install Google Maps in Logan's car? How else could he not know where he was on track when he crashed during practice? How can you not know where you are? I think that is actually a pretty good question. If you read this comment, how does this translate?
In some ways, I sort of get it, because sometimes a corner, even just like driving on the road, a corner can feel or look very like similar to another corner, and you can kind of lose your bearings momentarily. Like, oh, am I already 10 minutes further up the road than I thought? But if you're just driving, you'd kind of put that down to just like zoning out for a bit and just being
That's fine when you go like 30 miles an hour, mate.
Yeah, which when you're driving a Formula One car, I don't think you should be zoning out and being in autopilot. Google Maps on his steering wheel. Well, they've got the new screens mounted on the wheel now. Maybe that's the problem. The Google Maps was rotating with the wheel, and then he was losing his bearings that way. I don't know. I don't understand it. I really don't. But oh well.
Not much you can say about that, though.
No, I mean, it just kind of, like I said, he just shouldn't be making these sorts of mistakes. I wouldn't have thought, really, in season 2.
Yeah. But, and then you think Williams has got the best luck lately with 2 big crashes in 3 races.
Yeah.
But then Albon can't make it through the first SS either.
No. That was... I mean, you just briefly talked about that, and you thought Albon was maybe a little bit brave, and I think he maybe was a little bit. That wasn't maybe best place to try and make a move, like on the outside into the S's like that. Or into the first of the S's, anyway. But yes, Ricciardo just had nowhere else to go, did he? He had, he's watching
Stroll on the inside,
thinking Stroll's going to dive bomb him. So he's giving space for a potential dive bomb.
You can't go 3 wide into the S's, basically.
No, you can't go 3 wide into many corners. But yeah, certainly not the S's. So yeah, that was just unfortunate, really. That was like the equivalent of a first corner incident, even though technically it was like the third corner. But
do you think we should get these focus points back? Do you think I should make this the question for the for our estimates later on?
All right.
How many duct tape will be on Williams' car by the end of the season?
It's going to be majority duct tape. They should have gone with a silver car, and then
they got a battery on top already on the livery. Maybe you can just put duct tape everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll be the if they were going to do a special livery, where would it be? Probably Silverstone.
Williams, yeah.
Yeah, and the entire car, it just looks like it's covered in duct tape.
The one car from Logan is covered in dust. Sprinkled with dust. And the Albon's cars. Oh, man. We laugh, but I don't think it's just luck, honestly, as well.
No.
Like, if I applaud, that's what I meant. I applaud Albon's bravura, right? His courage sometimes.
Yeah.
And he starts on soft, then he was on medium. But going 3 wide into the S's, knowing that you actually have 0 spare parts or anything for the team left, that's a bit bold.
Yeah.
A bit too bold, I think.
I think. I mean, I don't know. I've not. Maybe Albon said it even. I don't know. I've not really seen him talk about the crash yet. But I wonder if he just felt a little bit frustrated by how the first and second corner played out for him, because he looked like he was going to get past Ricciardo there, and then he kind of just didn't happen for him, and he was kind of slightly wrong-footed or kind of lost a little bit of momentum because of the way that those first 2 corners played out for him.
Yeah.
Because both of the Alpines got really bad starts, didn't they, on the first start? And it looked like Ricciardo was going to get ahead of Yuki at one point. And then Yuki just kind of didn't brake for about another 10 meters after Ricciardo started braking, and just carried on. And, that was it. He was ahead of him. But, yeah, a couple of cars kind of got almost sort of bogged down or caught up in the slow starts of both the Alpines, and Albon was definitely one of them, and he kind of lost some momentum through the first couple of corners. And maybe that's why he just sort of, he's a bit annoyed. He's on the softer tyre. He wants to be making up ground off the start, and he's maybe just thinking, I could just get past him here. If I just get past him here, then I'm good. And obviously, he didn't get past him because he got wiped out by him.
Oh, I felt a little bit sorry for Ricciardo either.
Oh, I do. I feel really bad for Ricciardo because he looked like this race was potentially going to be a
start 11th.
Yeah, he started in a good spot. He was unlucky to get knocked out. He was only, he was like a couple of hundredths off Yuki's time in qualifying. They were very close, and he'd be hoping to do well in Japan because he's been getting quite reasonably outclassed by Yuki this season, and he's at Yuki's home turf, so if he can at least kind of have a race similar to Yuki, that would reflect well on him. So yeah, he's sort of run a bad luck. Well, some of it's not bad luck, some of it's his own kind of not really doing very well.
Skill.
Yeah, it's just been compounded by some bad luck that he's had in this race, unfortunately.
It's like Max said as well. Like sometimes you just have bad luck, like we had 2 weeks ago, but you just move past it and go again. Unfortunately, for Daniel Albon, they don't have any luck right now, and the performances when they don't crash aren't that good either. Like Williams. So it's time they do show some highlights though, because we will talk about Yuki in a moment, but I think he shows that even if you don't have the best car, you can still show off yourself. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So let's hope Daniel picks up, but leave it like that. It's time for Focus Point 1, James.
Yes.
Because this one's going to be fun. In my honest opinion, one of the biggest winners this weekend was, of course, Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
He's in the form of his life right now. I think he's unbeaten in his qualifying head-to-head now versus Ricciardo 4-0. So that's good. And he made it to Q3 for the 3rd time this year. So 3 out of 4 times made it to Q3 in qualifying. And some amazing overtake on the outside of the S's I've seen.
Yep.
Possibly, well, you can describe this in a moment because it's also my biggest frustration of the whole race. Possibly one of the most interesting pit stops we've seen in a while, which got him 2 places in up the grid.
Yeah.
And this point, when you do it in Japan, I think since 2012, was it Kobayashi? Could be 2011. I'm going to say 2012. Kobayashi got points in Japan, so it's been well over a decade since a Japanese driver scored points in Japan.
Yeah.
With, of course, a Honda engine. So
yeah,
I'm impressed by Yuki lately. He can still be very stressed out at times. So I still don't think he's Red Bull material. But I have to be honest, I do feel I might have underestimated him a bit.
I think he's showing race wise, like race pace, even qualifying. He's really showing what he's got this season so far. And to be fair, the only time he's the only time he's actually been beaten by Ricciardo was in the first race, and that was because they gave team orders to let Ricciardo through because he was on slightly newer tyres, and he didn't end up making an impression anyway. I think what they should have done at the end of that race, if Ricciardo didn't get past, is swap the positions back again because Yuki had earned his position there. But I think Yuki's obviously, we've talked about this plenty of times before. He's got some fire. He gets riled up a little bit. He gets a bit angry. He gets passionate. Is maybe a polite way of putting it.
Passionate or stressed.
I'm
not sure where the balance is.
it feels like at the moment he's directing or channeling all of that into basically just beating Ricciardo, and I don't know if that first race result is anything to do with that, but in some ways this kind of reminds me a little bit of Max and Perez, with Perez saying, "I'm in this title fight," and then Max saying,
"What title?
You're never winning a race again. I'm just going to absolutely destroy you now. How dare you say that?" And it feels like Yuki's kind of maybe trying to do a little bit of that to Ricciardo at the moment. That's how it certainly looks to me. One thing I do want to say, talking about those pit stops, which race direction as far as the cameras and what we are seeing on screen was absolutely atrocious in that minute.
Explain what happened for people that didn't see it, because there were a lot of people that did not see this.
There was Yuki Tsunoda and basically every other car within a 20-mile radius of him pitting at the same time. It's like him, the two cars in front of him, the two cars behind him, all pitting.
P11 to P15 pitted at the same lap, and it was Tsunoda, Bottas, Magnussen, Stroll, and Sargent. 11 to 15.
It felt like the safety car had just come out. That's how hectic it looks in the pits in that moment. And fair play to Visa, Cash App, RB, whatever we're calling them,
Racing Bulls.
They did a tremendous pit stop, and Yuki came out ahead of everybody else. It was the first car out of the pits out of those that went in. And what I wanted to say about that was Yuki's radio message when he congratulated the team and he gave them the well-earned praise for that. And if you're his pit crew, that's got to feel good, surely, getting a shout out like that on TV.
Definitely.
They're already they've got to be feeling quite hyped and quite pumped about. They did a really good pit stop. It was really clean. They got him out really quickly and in front of some other cars that pitted at the same time. And then to get that radio message as well must have felt really good. And that's all just good for morale and things like that. And that's what I want to see out of Yuki. I don't want to see him getting angry and swearing and questioning calls and judgments and things like that. I want to see him reinforcing positives like he did there, which it was just a great little sequence.
Did you hear his press conference before the race?
I didn't know.
And we should play this, but we might get copyright claims, so let's not. But what happened is they were sitting, I think Max, Lando, Yuki, I'm pretty sure Russell was there as well. And they asked Yuki, what's the most fun thing you've seen with the fans? Because fans in Japan, they go out big.
They do.
They dress up to make things. So he says, I saw a mini Yuki Tsunoda from a mini self. like this big, like a couple of inches big. And I saw that when I like looked up, I saw it. And Max says you were probably looking in the mirror. And they all had a good laugh about it. And he laughed along with it, like, yeah, that could probably also be it. And I was like, oh, he's actually way more relaxed on things like this as well. So he's definitely in the flow. And yeah, it's good to see though, because they're now in 6th. RB Red Bull Racing Bulls V Carb. It's called V Carb. Second time hitting the points in 2 races now as well.
Yeah.
So that's rather impressive. And I'm very happy not only the strategy worked, he lost some place from the start as well, but some of the overtakes he took during the S's. I'm sorry, because you said with the pits, the race director didn't cut it. They didn't cut half of his overtakes either. Yeah. But they were really well done. Elbows out. The car was set up with high downforce, so not very fast on straights, very fast in corners, which made him creep up to everyone in the corners, and then sort of be able to lift with them on the straights. Very smart move as well.
Yeah.
Just clicked. I was really happy to see that. Do you think he could take the Red Bull seat next year, though? That's the $1 million question, literally.
I don't think so yet. I don't know. It's a tough one because while, if his season carries on the way that it's going, then maybe moving him up while he's full of confidence is the right thing to do, because who knows what happens next year. But at the same time, I still think there's some issues that need sorting out before he moves up to a team like Red Bull, particularly, his sort of his fiery attitude at times. I don't know what you do about that. Whether he'd be benefit from like a lot of athletes or be in contact with like sports psychologists and stuff like that. Maybe something like that would help him. I don't know. Maybe he's already doing that. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I think he is actually.
Yeah. I think ideally you keep. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think ideally you keep Perez in the seat for another 1 year stint.
Oh my gosh! I got to frame cap that one.
Review it. One thing I will say with Perez on that actually maybe that is the way to do it, because I was about to say I'm pretty sure I'm 100% at cap. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, I don't know, 95% sure that I have said at some point on our show before that Perez always seems to do really well when his contract's up for negotiation, and then as soon as it gets signed, he kind of disappears again. That feels like what's happening currently this season. So maybe that is actually the way to keep Perez doing well, is to only ever sign him to 1 year deals. But I think for Yuki, I think leave him in VCARB for 1 more year. If he proves his worth after that, then yeah. The only problem is that he potentially gets snapped up elsewhere in the meantime.
I know where he could go.
I was just about to say, with Honda going to Aston Martin, maybe Aston
I'm already
Martin,
wearing green for that.
Yeah, maybe they grab him.
Could be. I think he looks like a little bit like Stroll.
It's the hair.
Maybe we could say it's his other son.
Yeah, I mean, at what point does Daddy Stroll decide Lance isn't going to do it?
I was this close of making one of the topics today because Aramco, the Saudi Arabia sponsor from Aston Martin, is offered to buy up Aston Martin, the rumor goes.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I think not only do we have a very, very, very rich team going on, maybe it's already one of the richest teams, but then it's all like go nuts. But at that situation, when they partner with Honda, it could be a very powerful, strong combination. And then you're not stuck to having Stroll on your team when the team principal, or the team owner, I should say, isn't necessarily Lance Stroll anymore.
Yeah, it is certainly to the detriment of the team at the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the power works within a team, whether that's just up for Stroll to decide and whether he says, no, I don't want to sell it and he just keeps it, or whether
I
there
think
are
he's definitely
other...
up for selling it, honestly.
Well, maybe. I mean, he sounds like he'd potentially make a profit out of it the way they're going and already having Honda lined up. So they're basically a factory team from 2026. That's very enticing and a lot better than they were when he took over. So he's going to make money. And at the end of the day, he's a businessman, and businessmen just want to make money, don't they? So
Why would it gonna be?
and he's already very, very wealthy. How much money does a person need? Well, he obviously would like more, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's...
So yeah, I think there's a possibility of that. I don't think either of us had them down as a team to be sold when we were making our predictions for the year. But
Nope. I still think our predictions can very much come true. Because although
I
it's not
do
a
as well.
topic
Yeah.
we should discuss, and I do want to continue to the next topic.
Yep.
Those Alpines, man.
Yeah.
They had damage. That's why they were so slow, they said after the race.
Oh, what was their excuse last weekend? Or last race? Or the race before that?
No, they were
just always damaged.
Wind.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, but this was so
direction.
bad. Like, I thought, like, Yuki was just driving past him. Everyone was like, and you saw the grip on Gasly. It was like embarrassing bad.
Yeah.
Sliding through the
just
S's.
constantly oversteering.
And then afterwards, like, yeah, but we had damage. It's like,
yeah.
Even if you did, you're better off just retiring because this is...
Yeah, how long are Renault going to put up with this? Because, they're not an engine supplier anymore, other than to Alpine, which is basically their team. What's in it for them anymore? I mean, if they've finished last in the Constructors' Championship, they're not getting much money out of it.
They will.
Either. Yeah.
I don't see it turning around.
So, yeah. I mean, they were my prediction to be sold, and I think they will be. If it doesn't happen this year, I'm sure it'll happen in the next year or two. Because what else has Renault got to play for in the sport now? There's nothing. No team's going to want to switch to Renault at this point, I don't think. So
maybe Andretti buys it and they drive with Renault motors, with engines.
Well, yeah, that's the option. You do. Andretti buys it, they run with Renault for a year or two, and then they switch to Cadillac.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's what happens. That's what I think will happen. I mean,
we'll see that.
Who knows? But
James,
yeah,
we have praised Yuki. Well, we'll see where he ends up next year. But I think I think you're right. Not for another year, and I think we'll be seeing him either wearing green or going out. One of those two. But so far, so good. Compliments for Yuki. It's time for something I wouldn't thought I would be saying anytime soon. But it's time to look in our next focus point. A Ferrari strategy masterclass. I have never been...
What is going on?
Let's start here. I have never, ever been so wrong, so blatantly wrong, I'll just admit it here, about calling a strategy so poor in my life.
Yeah, what timeline are we on here? I'm so confused.
So what happens? This is like 1994 again, 2002.
Yeah, Ferrari just doing something really well
out of the blue. So why I was so wrong? They were both driving on mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else pitted. Sainz pitted. Leclerc was slow, leading in mediums. Max chasing him, 3 seconds away. Another 3 seconds away. Max about to gain him. Max gained him. I was like, why do you keep Leclerc hanging in? What are you doing? Why do you sacrifice him just to get Sainz to catch up a little bit? Why are you sacrificing him here, right? I couldn't understand. It is a very tire-wearing He said high tire degradation
High degradation, yeah.
track. What are you doing to the poor lad? Just keeping him out. Then they pull him in. He switches to hard and finishes fourth. While Sainz just blasts past everyone else on hards and finishing third.
Yeah.
Keeping their noses clean, beating a McLaren from Lando that should actually just be a definitive third in that race.
Yeah.
But they missed the sort of the strategy calls they did. So with a
Yeah.
good strategy, with supreme fast pit stops, like Max had a 2-second pit stop, but Ferrari had 2.1 and 2.2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly executed, perfectly managed, no fight between the drivers. Sainz hitting another third place, Leclerc just hitting fourth. I was like, I am sorry, I doubted you, I think, but also like stunned, flabbergasted even with what just happened here. I don't even know what to say anymore, but I thought it was worth a highlight for today.
Leclerc went as far or further, I'm trying to remember how far he went, on mediums as the Mercedes did on the hard tyres.
Yeah, but with the Mercedes, I don't think you should compare it to Mercedes.
Well, no, not entirely, but he did what Mercedes were trying to do, but started on mediums rather than hards. This was after the second restart, or after the restart rather, not the second, or the second start. So Mercedes switched to hards, and it seemed fairly clear they'd already run one set of mediums technically because they did basically a sector on the medium tyres before the red flag, and basically started the race on them. Switched to the hards, and then it seemed somewhat obvious that the plan for them was probably to try and do a one stop and just do a stint on hards, followed by a second stint on hards, and turn the race into a one-stop race where everyone else was going to have to do a two-stop or maybe even a three-stop, depending on degradation. And in the end, Mercedes threw that plan into the trash can and did a two-stop, but they bodged it anyway because they did the first stint as if they were doing a one-stop, and then partway through the second stint decided this isn't working, so we'll switch to...
Lewis definitely made clear that wasn't working.
yeah, he did. And to be fair, it was potentially going to work for them. I mean, Russell was gaining on the cars in front pretty quickly. Hamilton was going even faster than Russell, so whilst Russell was gaining, Hamilton was still gaining on Russell. But then Alonso played a Sainz and just kept giving the car behind him DRS so that the car that's renowned for not being very fast in a straight line couldn't get past the car in front. But yeah, Leclerc, like the tyre whisperer, just how did he do a stint?
26 laps.
The mediums. How?
I should say 25 laps in full honest, because we don't have to think. The safety car happened, or the red flag, I should say. Red flag.
Yeah.
That means everyone was on the first stop right away.
Yeah.
So while we were talking about two stops, actually most we think the two stops was three stops this weekend officially.
Yeah.
That's why I also couldn't find the stats. Like one was the first pit stop, but it's the second pit stop what I'm looking at. So the second pit stop was on laps 26. Just comparing him to Sainz, who did the same switch on lap 15.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at all the stats, it's like the first stops were 11, the second were like 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 15, 15, 16, 90. Then we had 5, of course, on lap 22. Lewis Hamilton in 23. So he tried that. And then Leclerc in 26, along with Norris for 26. But it was Norris's second pit stop already.
Yeah. So on one set of tyres, he went as far as the shortest and the longest other medium stints combined, 11 and 15, and he did 26.
Yeah, that's nuts. I do think maybe the Red Bulls could have done that as well, but they were just covering everyone behind.
Yeah,
So
maybe. I mean, yeah, Red Bull were in that like fortunate position that you're always going to be in being the faster team. We've seen Mercedes do it in the past. We saw Red Bull do it before that, where you don't need to try and think of anything clever with the strategy. You just replicate what the car behind you is doing because you're always that far ahead that you've got the breathing space. They're never going to get the undercut. So, if, you know,
even on tracks like this where the undercut is very strong.
yeah. So if Norris was in third position and he decides to pit for mediums or pit from his mediums onto hards, you just do another lap and you're like, okay, we'll do that. Or if you're that far ahead, you're like, well, we'll do the same, but we'll just give it another couple of laps because, might get a safety car or get lucky. Or we can just, because we can extend, we might as well. So, yeah, some Red Bull probably could do that. I mean, they've had great tyre management and tyre wear last season and seem to be doing this season as well, but they didn't need to because, like we just said, they can just replicate the car behind and stay in front of them. But yeah, Leclerc, that was interesting, and they really caught McLaren off guard. I don't know what McLaren would do in this race because they're really, if they weren't finishing third, which they probably should have done, they should have been finishing fourth because maybe Sainz just, all out race pace. Maybe he was faster than Norris and maybe he would have passed Norris anyway. But Norris should have stayed ahead of Leclerc, is my opinion. But that strategy just seemed to work really well for them. Yeah, I don't know what's happened at Ferrari, but
well, I know for sure. Got time to fix it.
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah, for definite. Yeah, he's having a very positive impact on the team and turning things around, and it just seems to be having a trickle down effect because even like in the past, there'd be like like the memes about Leclerc's engineer. I forget his name. We are checking, and like
Savvy
stuff about this stuff about like them never knowing what to do, and it's like, do you want to do plan A, plan B, or plan D, or do you want to just skip to plan Z, or ask you like giving the drivers like 50 questions, and there's none of that so far this season. It's like, right, this is what we're doing, and we're just sticking to the plan, or if we are changing plan, we're not offering you 50 different options to pick from, followed by what do you want to eat tonight, that sort of thing. It's just like, right, this isn't working, let's do this instead. Okay, let's do it. And they're just functioning as a team, which
it sounds weird, eh?
you should expect from a team like with such prestige as Ferrari, but historically, or certainly in recent history, they haven't really been doing, and currently they are doing again, which is just, it's great to see. I'm excited because I'm looking forward to seeing Lewis move there next year.
Well, you don't have to ask Lewis if he's jealous, though.
No. Yeah, I mean, day by day, that decision must be looking better and better for him.
You've seen him walk out of the interview?
No.
Oh, an interviewer asked Lewis if he was jealous on Ferrari and how much he looks forward to going there next year then. And he said, do you have any normal questions? And he just walked away.
You can't ask a driver a question like that yet. just because he's signed, he's not there yet. He still has to, play the team game for the team he's currently driving for and keep morale high, or try to.
Lewis, I feel a little bit for him as well. Like 3 weeks ago, he said, well, what do you think of the car? And he says, oh, at least it's reliable. And then last week his car broke down. And he joked about that himself as well. Like, okay, it's most of the time it's reliable. But it must feel so bad for him, though.
Yeah, and then Friday, he had a pretty good... Well, Friday was an odd day because...
Yeah, FP2 was weird.
Changing conditions and stuff like that. But he said he felt like they had a pretty good day and the car felt how he would expect, and they were on a good start with it for the weekend. And then it just kind of went wrong. Although he did pick up a bit of damage, didn't he?
Sure, damage. No, I'm kidding. Constructors Championship, though. I was just quickly looking there. For Red Bull's 141, with Ferrari at 120. Of course, Max missing out of a race doesn't help there, but
Yeah.
that's not even that far
No.
apart.
No.
McLaren is on 69 compared to Ferrari 120, so that's already a big gap they're hitting there.
Yep.
Now it gets interesting. Mercedes at 34 points in place 4.
It's unbelievable.
Aston Martin, 33 points.
Yeah.
This could be the year
and
Mercedes ends up 5th if they continue.
And Aston Martin is basically
One driver.
just Alonso. I really don't think Aston Martin beat Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, though.
No, I can't imagine either, but still.
Yeah, I said it last year, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't think when it comes to in-season development, I don't see Aston Martin keeping up with a team like Mercedes. I suspect Mercedes will become... Maybe they won't even catch McLaren. Maybe they just settle into like a comfortable 4th. Ferrari, I'm pretty sure, are locked in as second fastest team at this point. McLaren could be 3rd or could be 4th, depending on how they develop through the year. But yeah,
no, we'll see. We'll see. James, are you ready to look back at our predictions?
Now we can just gloss over that.
Let's go with it, though. Oh, James, we predict, and how much do we get right? This one is interesting, though. So last week we were saying, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, of course, we ask who gets pole, who wins the race, who is the first DNF, and any question which has numbers in it, and whoever is close to that winning number wins that point. Yeah, this is one of those weird weeks when I'm trying to find. The first one was pole position. You said it's going to be Leclerc, and I said it's going to be Max. I have to say, so far it was 6-4 in your advantage. Okay, so Max got pole. That means it's now 6-5. Hey, I'm getting closer. Win, we both says Max. So, well, we both got a point. 7-6. The first DNF, you says Bottas, I said Ocon. But hey, we know it was Ricciardo and Albon. So we could have either one of those two and it would actually win. But we didn't get any points. So still 7-6. James, the last question. You says, you make this one. How many laps, how many drivers, excluding did not finishers, will be behind on 1 lap or more at the end result?
Yeah.
Do I pronounce? Yeah, I said that correctly, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I got the list in front of me. I said 7. And do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I said 9, I think.
You said 9. So, okay. We have 3 DNFs, which leaves us with 17 drivers left, right?
Yeah.
Right. We got Sargent, which is 1. We got the both of the Alpines, obviously. So that means 3. We have Sauber, the Bottas, 4, 1 lap behind. We got Magnussen, 1 lap behind, which is 5. We got Lance Stroll, 1 lap behind, which is horrific. But hey, that leaves us with 6. Hulkenberg leaves us with 7. So points are for me. And James, Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Bringing it. Yuki Tsunoda bringing it to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers on 1 lap behind.
Yeah.
That's interesting since I said 7, you said 9.
Yeah, and the idea of this bonus question was that only one of us could come away with a point. we found a flaw in that logic.
So what do we do?
So in future, if somebody says an odd number, the other person's got to say an even number.
Oh, wait till you hear my next question, though. So you can decide. Do we get both a point or do we both don't get a point?
We just both get a point. It makes no difference either way, does it? Whether we both get
yeah, that looks better on paper, how much we know about this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Next race is, of course, China. We are back. It's been a couple of years. New asphalt. Well, new everything. We haven't driven with these types of cars there yet. So we have no idea what to expect. Or do we? James, who hits pole position?
Oh, wait, yeah, it's China first. I was thinking we're Miami. 'Cause, yeah, China, Max. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, we'll see how long this goes, but I have to go with Max as well. Sorry, mate.
yeah, I think at some point we're going to have to change these questions.
Well, I have to wait for a
Give it a
bit, though.
couple more races.
Yeah, exactly. Then I can decide the first one. The first win. Who's going to win it? I'm going for Max, but
Yeah,
I have to,
I mean,
betting
there's only
against
been
him is a
two.
poor choice, right?
Exactly. There's only been 2 people to win a race for the last 20-something races now, and the other person's only won 2 of them. So I'm going with Max.
Oh, say that's why I go for Saints. No. Oh, okay. Max. All right. So this one has to be different. We said. Who is the
Yeah.
first DNF of China?
First DNF. I shall go with. I'm going to go with Stroll.
Interesting. I have to be right sometimes, so I'm going to go with Ocon. He's never actually, he's not DNF very early on, most of the times, honestly. So, here's my question though. We've seen some extremely fast pit stops over the last race. 2 seconds, 2.1, 2.1, 2.2. I've got a list in front of me. It is amazing. The slowest pit stop, however, this weekend was from the Sauers or the Kicks with 4 seconds. That is already, I don't know, 8 seconds faster than the last time they tried a pit stop. 2 races ago, it was absolutely horrendous. They say it's because of a technical issue which will be resolved after the Chinese Grand Prix.
Yeah, something to do with the wheel nuts,
Yes,
isn't it?
so they apparently have a problem with that. Yeah. Which is a very annoying problem to face if that's the case, honestly. So they got some new materials and they got a new supplier, but it takes some weeks to get it produced. So okay, that means we can still expect some very slow pit stops in China. And also, this question was recommended by our dear listener Oystein last week, I think.
Excellent.
So, James, what is in the Chinese Grand Prix the slowest pit stop going to be from Kicksau? And you can say 0.1 number.
What were the pit stop times this weekend then? The fastest was like 4 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, that was the slowest, I hope, though.
Yeah, what was their slowest? I feel like it was more than 4 seconds, wasn't it?
I don't actually know.
Okay. I'll just wing it. I will go with 6 seconds.
That is very slow, though.
Yeah, well, they are slow.
Oh, that is true. 6 seconds. It can't be that bad. So this is their slowest time for pit stop. You say 6 seconds.
Yeah.
It has to be 4.37, I think.
Okay, that's very specific. I like it. Now I'm thinking all something has to do is go slightly wrong, and I'm good.
What do I say?
I'm sticking with 6. Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna hit on.
And you're going, what was it,
4.37?
I was just checking that you did remember that number.
Yeah, it's my age.
4.37, okay.
No, it's not my age, I wish. Slowest pit stop from Haas. From Haas. Sorry, Haas.
Kicks out.
From Sauber. You said 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And I say 4.37 seconds. The slowest, not the fastest.
Yeah, the slowest, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. In before both cars do not start and we don't get any pit stops in. We've got another tiebreaker.
Yeah.
What number is dead in the center of 6 seconds and 4.37 seconds, though? Because that's probably what's going to happen again.
Oh, my God. Please, no.
Can you imagine 4.37, though? Anyways,
I'd be asking you for the lottery numbers if you did that.
I will not be giving you them. Score so far 8-9 in your advantage. But I have to admit, after 4 races, that's not too bad.
No, that's not bad. Still pretty close.
Yeah. Do you know what also is very close, but not really?
What's
China. 2-week break.
Well,
Again.
Yeah, it is another 2-week break. Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm a bit worried about when we start with the race every weekend for I don't know how long again. It's a very busy calendar this year. What is it? 24 races this year.
Have you already realized we probably have to do a show on an island soon?
Yes. Yeah, I am aware of that. That's going to be interesting with the provided internet connection there.
Well, recording isn't going to be an issue. But
no, but
uploading might be a sort of. We might have a trouble.
Yeah, we'll have. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes. Indeed, we're going to record our show probably for live crowd by then, James. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah. Talking about interesting. If you like our show, if you think the show is interesting, give us a 5-star review on any platform of your choice. It is not only appreciated, but it helps us grow. Also, we'll share the link. Try checking out our YouTube channel. We're very small. Well, we're not very small, but the YouTube channel is very small. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we need a couple more subscribers to get our channel named, which, of course, we'll be celebrating. But I don't know how we will celebrate that yet, though. But we'll celebrate it anyways. So please, thank you for your support, listening to us, of course, and helping us out that way. We'll be doing more on socials, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We are very much trying to ramp it up. James went very much out of his way to make some awesome content clips for socials. But the Dutch boy forgot to actually post them. So that's totally on me. But I'll try to be better over the next week or so. Maybe we should try putting out these race summaries, James, at start on socials. We'll see. But anyways, thank you. We are at F1 in Focus Pod. We are F1 in Focus. My name is John. The man with the best hair in the business is James. We thank you very much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks after the Chinese Grand Prix.
See you later.